There we go. All right. Welcome, everybody. It's a special episode of the Spirits Club. You can see I'm not in my usual spot. This place is kind of cool, actually, even without lights on. You got like the twinkles and everything going. Um, I'm here with my boy, KP Malone. He's going to be my special guest today. We're going to review and drink some of this Crystal Head vodka. And then we're going to have a chat about all kinds of things, whatever you guys want to talk about. So let's get that going. Okay, P, you are part of the same label that I'm on right now. You're part of Big Buff Records.
Big Buff Records.
Big Buff Records. You want to give them their shout out?
Shout out to Big Buff Records. We also have a special joint venture with Big Buff Records and B&E, my own creation, breaking entering. Our motto is they didn't want to let us in the door, so we're gonna kick the shit down.
I mixed that with whatever you got in there. So
You're trying to get me fucked up. We could curse in here, right?
yeah, go ahead.
Fuckity fuck. No, I'm just playing.
YouTube will probably like censor the first couple of them, but like they don't monetize me right now.
Yeah, I don't want to shadow ban you or anything, you know. That's how they got me on Facebook. Oh damn, Spider, you're a real one. You made my shit strong.
It's good stuff, huh?
Yes, sir. Actually, it's a. I went one burgundy seal. Stings the taste buds. No, it's not bad actually.
Yeah, I'm not a big vodka fan generally, but I
I
like this, and I know you like vodka.
I switched from dark to light a couple years ago. I stopped drinking heavy, but I used to do dark, and then I noticed that I used to have the shittiest hangovers. My friends say you should start drinking more juice and vodka. So, but I'm a cheap vodka guy.
Yeah.
I'll go for like Absolute, or I'll go for like a never Vladimir,
No.
never
Learn the
McCormick
lesson
or anything
there.
like. But
Learn the lesson there.
what's my go-to vodka, man? It's been so long. I barely drink like I used to. Let's see. Uh, what's the one I always do, man? Just see. I forgot. I'll think about it in a second. But this is pretty cool, man. Skull Vodka. Who's the creator of this?
Dan Aykroyd. He's from Ghostbusters, from all those comedy movies and things.
Shout out to Dan.
And he's the one who's in charge of this. And this is some interesting stuff because what they do when they filter it through Swarovski crystals, which are like some kind of, they're called diamonds, but they're not diamonds, but they're really expensive. And you like filter it through it. It's super interesting process, and I like it because it doesn't taste like a lot of vodka for me, especially the cheap stuff.
Mhm.
It's like gasoline.
Yeah.
Just like drinking a bunch of gasoline.
Definitely flammable.
This stuff you can drink a little bit of it straight, and it's not that bad. You get a little bit of a vanilla on it, and it mixes pretty good too. It mixes real smooth.
He's got his with Coke. I got mine with lemonade. So we're switching. I'm gonna switch when I'm done with this. This is actually really good. I could definitely sip on this and be cool.
And this is, if I remember, this isn't too crazy on the content either. This is normal 80 proof, so it's not like it's nuts. And this is, it's not the cheapest, but it's not like $100 or anything. This, I think I paid 51 for today, which is still, I usually try to stay at $30 and under anymore,
Yeah.
just because the economy is shit.
Yeah.
But if you're gonna spend a little bit on something nice, then 50 is a comfortable area for spending some money.
I noticed a lot of people out here in Ohio are expensive drinkers.
Yeah.
When I go to the liquor store, I feel like I'm like the cheap. I feel cheap stuff.
One of the things I've been doing, because the last thing I brought over that you had, we weren't doing an episode of this, but I brought over that the Evan Williams.
Yeah.
The 100.
That was smooth.
And that's only like $20.
Yeah, I might switch to that. That was the dark joint, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, the whiskey.
Yeah. Because usually I'm a whiskey guy. They don't know, they know all about that. I'm usually the whiskey guy. But yeah, for $20, like that's in my comfortable area of getting something that's real strong, so it goes a long way, but it tastes pretty good too. You can mix it with just about anything, to be honest.
Yeah, I say you guys are drinking. I think we had energy drinks that day. Me and Bushmaster had energy drinks, and Were you drinking yours with soda?
I had some Coke. Yeah, I brought the Coke.
Yeah, I'm weird about vodka with soda. Unless it's like flavored soda. I don't know why.
I was trying to find some vanilla Coke because I figured since it's got a little bit of a vanilla,
yeah.
it would mix right. But I went to the Eagle, and they didn't have it.
It's hard to find vanilla Coke nowadays.
Yeah, because now they had that spiced Coke. It's like the ginger spiced or whatever. I'm kind of like, I don't know how that would mix. It's new. It's supposed to be like
Seasonal.
yeah. I've tried it before though. It's not that spicy. It's supposed to be spicy, like something that you'd be like, oh, you challenge your friends to have a spicy drink or something like that. It's not.
I loved that lemon. What was the lemon Coke back in the day? They had an orange Coke,
Yeah,
and then they
the
had
orange
lemon.
cream, and then they had like the lemon, and then they had like the lime Coke or something
That
like
was
that.
good. Yeah.
Yeah.
That was really good.
Now there's some things that you can get. Like there's some whiskeys that I've had that mix really, really well with the cherry Coke. They don't mix as well with the regular, but they do mix with the cherry. Um, but this I think definitely is best with like it would have been best with the vanilla if they had it.
I felt high class drinking that shit. I feel like I jumped out of Ancient Aliens, like right out of the water. Uh, I wanted to talk about that, by the way. Do y'all know about the skulls? Y'all ever seen Ancient Aliens? Y'all hear about the crystal skulls that they found?
It's wild.
It's so crazy. I would like to see one in person. Just touch it.
Oh yeah,
just want to touch it.
because you get some of them that are shaped kind of like this, but you get a lot of them that have the extended, like the
The
thing in
alien
the
head.
back and everything like that. And yeah, that's
How
good
do they
stuff.
do
Like
that? Back in the day, how would they even do that? Like a mold, maybe like a glass. I heard sand turned into glass.
what they say, according to the story, because they don't know for sure, but they say that they were carved directly out of the crystal. But I'm kind of like, there's a
that
lot of
crystal?
like technology we don't know about that they had back then. Like they probably
crystal.
had molds. And
They're crystal. They are crystal skulls.
well, yeah, they
That's
carved
stupid.
them right out of it.
Yeah. Yeah, that's a lot for people that were moving stones with horses and giraffes and stuff. Fucking elephants, you know,
Like
probably.
camels and stuff.
Yeah, man, like damn.
Like I used to watch a lot of that ancient alien stuff, and then like one of these times I should have you on my other show.
What?
My other show, I'm not in charge of that show, but I'm the co-host. And that's we talk about aliens, UFOs, Bigfoot, like
I'm
all
into
this
stuff
stuff.
like that,
That's what
yeah.
we do, and we do that on Thursdays now. We used to do it on Fridays, now it's on Thursdays. So, which is why I always got to like balance everything on Thursday now. Like if we're doing something during the day, I got to be like, okay, get all this done, and then cut that off for later. But yeah, I should have you on that show one of these days here soon, because that's a fun one too. Bushmaster would have a field day
Yeah.
on that show. He'd
Yeah.
go nuts. He would go crazy.
We talk about a lot of conspiracy theories. And they say that every lie has truth in it, and every conspiracy has some type of something in it. Because if there's nothing new under the sun, then it has to come from something, right?
Yeah, I like the ancient stuff. I like going back all the way back to like Sumerians and beginning of civilization, all that other stuff. With the stories of Anunnaki coming down. Because I look at it definitely as like not necessarily extraterrestrials, but another species of being coming down and kind of bringing us up for whatever reason. And we've talked about that on the other show before, but I did a ton of research years and years ago, like all kinds of notes and stuff.
Oh,
So
me
it's
too.
in my
Me
head
too.
now.
Flat Earth theory, the dome,
The inner Earth, the hollow Earth, and all that.
yeah. And there's actually, if you, I don't know if you believe in God or anything, but it says a lot in the Bible. It kind of goes in with everything that people believe, as in with Hollow Earth, and you know,
There's a lot of biblical stuff that even if you're not like a religious person, there's a lot of stuff in there.
Kind of ties in with everything.
It's based off of earlier stuff too. Like a lot of that stuff you could trace back to Sumerian stories. Like Abraham was a Sumerian. Like he was a Sumerian cavalry person, and he watched the fall of that empire before he escaped with all these people. And then all his stories in the Bible are basically what happens to him after that happens. So that's pretty cool once you like connect all that kind of thing, because you can see how much of it's been connected and how much of the stories have been changed since then too. Because everything's not the same reading it as it was at the time.
Yeah, I find it funny. Not to get on super religious stuff, but how they allowed and nothing bad to say about devil worshippers or Satanists or whatever. Some of the nicest people I've ever met, actually. Believe it or not, not all of them are extremists, and I met some really decent people that are devil worshippers, and if that's what they call it. Sorry if I get your religion wrong, but yeah, man, some of them are actually really nice people. A close friend of mine, he's a vegan and a devil worshiper. It's kind of like a fucking comparing. This is a bad comparison, but to see somebody who is people think have this bad stigma about people that do that, and they just believe in like living life and having fun and living without laws or but not like they're not like sacrificing lambs and shit like that. They're not doing nothing like that. They really just believe in not hurting animals, and my friend in particular, he believes in not hurting animals so much that he's a vegan. So it's kind of like being a smoker. It's kind of like being a smoker, but being a vegan at the same time, like counteractive.
The interesting thing about that is that you're right about that. Is that the because you've got like there's all the stories about like from the '70s stuff about the satanic panic and people going out in the woods and sacrificing things or whatever. But the modern the guy who put together the Church of Satan, who's Anton LaVey, was an atheist, and most of the stuff that they did is supposed to be atheist, but they use all the imagery because they're trying to piss off the Catholics more than anything else. But the whole thing is, it's all about like living in the right now, in the moment now, and trying to be the best person you can be now, but also not letting anybody give you any shit.
Yeah.
Like it's like, hey, we're gonna be good to you. We're gonna take care of this. We're gonna take care of this, but we're still focusing on ourselves. Don't come in here and try to push us around and do this because then we're gonna be mad at you. But other than that, it's like always be good to people for the most part and treat people the right way. And they don't actually even believe in like a
Devil
devil or anything like that. They're just like, we only use that to chase away the people who are going to be judgmental anyway.
Yeah. Yeah, I think that's pretty interesting. But yeah, man, crystal skulls, man, in the bottom of the fucking ocean. When they found them in pyramids.
Mm-hmm.
It's very advanced.
There's been a couple spots where people have owned them and they've been like, not necessarily like bad luck, but there's been like weird stuff that's gone on around. Like there was somebody who had one. I think they've got them now. There's a private collection that lets people come in and like touch it because they got like they're supposed to be healed or get different energy. But then there's been people who's tried to remove it from there, and like things have happened, and they're like, "No, I'm sorry, put it back." And it's interesting because you can supposedly feel the energy coming off.
Y'all have to see this, man. This is a great little design. It's actually like a skull, man. Like a Terminator skull.
See, that's the kind of bottle that once you drain it out, you save it and
Hell
use it for stuff. Because I got another one of these at home.
Hell yeah. I would. Hey, when you get enough of these and you don't want any more, I'll take them. Give me the empty ones.
What's interesting is there's people who've got like knockoffs of this. They come empty, so you can just put them on like a tray and be like, "This is my decanter, my skull decanter," and they're not as good. But there's another kind of vodka that's not as good as this either. Like the inside's not as good as the outside either. It's an alien head. It's not a skull, but it's got like the big eyes and everything like that. It's all green glass. I got one of those, but the vodka that came in, it was terrible. It was good.
Figures.
I had to drink through it to get rid of it, but I still got the bottle.
UFO enthusiasts, we have to do better.
Yeah, it wasn't good. What was it called? It was just called Outer Space Vodka. It wasn't even real great.
Probably
Outer Space Vodka. It's like an alien bottle. I saw the bottle. I'm like, I gotta have that bottle. I don't know even care if it's gonna be good on the inside. I gotta have that. And then the inside was terrible. So I had to mix it with stuff and get through it. This is superior. This is just a regular skull, but it's nice.
So this is my first time on this podcast. How long do you talk about? Do you change subjects on here? I know we just bounced around on like 20, 30 different subjects.
Usually these are actually pretty short because most of the time it's just me just talking about the alcohol and that's it. So it depends. If you want to keep on going, we can entertain some more people or just cut it off.
Oh, I'm not trying to.
If you got stuff to say, by all means, like
Well,
like
I will
say
say, let's critique. I'm going to take a sip and actually really think about this. I see where you're talking about the vanilla.
yeah,
Probably not the best lemonade to use. This is my homemade lemonade. I can dig it. I mean, it's not overpowering. It's pretty cool. I'd like to see what it tastes like with Coke. Probably grab another cup and
yeah,
throw some in with Coke. What do you? How do you feel about the Coke? Does it taste like vanilla Coke?
a little bit. It would have been better if the Coke itself had been vanilla, like I initially wanted to do, but it's not bad. Um, the good thing about this compared to some other vodkas is you don't get that harsh like vodka taste after the fact usually.
Hmm.
Like even if you have this straight up, it's not that bad. If you have like a shot of this, it treats you pretty well. But because of that, it's tempting to just drink a whole lot more than you would have otherwise.
Hell yeah! I kind of want to down this, but I'm scared.
That's the problem with like that's the problem with good tasting alcohol that doesn't have that strength to it because then you're like, oh, this is great, and then before you know it, you're through like half the bottle and you're stumbling around.
That's how I feel about Hennessy. That's how I can't do Hennessy, man.
Years ago, years ago, when I first started drinking in my super early 20s, I was super excited. I was like, I'll just drink whatever I can drink because I'm of age now.
Yeah.
There was this. It was from Jack Daniels. It was Jack Daniels Hard Cola,
I
and
love
it's not like this. Like it's not Jack and Coke today. It's not like if you just took Jack Daniels mixed it with Coke and that was it. It was like a special recipe that was like sweet and it had this. I can remember the taste, but I can barely describe it. It had like this molasses kind of like sweetness to it. It was really good, brown sugar kind of thing. And they came in a little 6 pack, and the bottles were shaped like barrels, kind of. And I used to drink a ton of it.
And
And
that
you'd
was
go
like
through like
the Jack that everybody drank, or was it a special?
I think it was special because it was before they came out with the ones that have like the fruit, like the Jack Blackberry, whatever the coolers things. And yo, bro, can I say one of those fans?
Yeah.
That shit is it's hotter than 6 fat bitches in the sauna.
Hey, come say hi to the podcast, man. This is my cousin Monster.
Pop in.
He's also an artist with BBR, Big Buff Records.
How's everybody doing? How everybody maintaining today? Everybody good?
Yep.
That's what's up.
So we are trying out this Skull Vodka.
Dean Aykroyd.
It'd be cool to have him on the show.
Yeah, because
I
he
have so
had a
many
show about
questions.
like he used to talk about this kind of stuff. He had his own like radio show talking about that kind of stuff, the aliens and the UFOs. And I don't think he still does that. He used to.
Yeah, so I like it. I think it's cool. I have to try it with the Coke. Hey, can you throw me on the cup when you cook?
Cup?
Yeah,
I got you.
try it with the Coke. But yeah, that's smooth, man.
Yeah,
I think my mix of lemonade is probably a little too sweet.
could
I
be.
think a little more watered down, but this is a 4C lemonade.
I'm usually pretty particular when I do my mixes because I've had a lot of really like poor ideas. What mix and what won't.
Tell me what. Tell me. Let me hear some bad
Like
mixes. Medicine, right? Medicine like.
I used to drink a ton of Mountain Dew all the time. Like that was my jam. And then I gave it up because it was messing up like my blood
You
pressure and everything.
You want to join in on with us?
I got some stuff I gotta do, man. Would love to hang out with y'all, vibe with the people, but I gotta go upstairs. I got got some stuff to do. But y'all enjoy yourselves.
I used to mix that with like Southern Comfort all the time, which is fine, but it's
What?
not like the Mountain Dew.
Lemonade.
is
Oh,
Comfort.
Mountain Dew.
Yeah,
Oh, okay.
but it's not actually that good. Like it'll mess your stomach up.
Southern Comfort. I've had some crazy times of Southern Comfort. We had a party. With my ex-girlfriend, who I was like madly in love with at the time. I was like probably like 17, and my boy was her brother, and we had a rap group together called SOW, Soldiers of War, and he was like, "Hey man, my sister likes you and shit." We started dating. It lasted for like 2 weeks. We fell in love in 2 weeks, and then she's like, "Yeah, it's summertime. I want to be single." And I'm like, "What? I love you." You know what I'm saying? And So anyway, so we got this party, man. We all still kicked it and shit after that. We had this party, and I'm like, yeah, I'm thinking I'm gonna hook up with my ex and stuff. Nah, I fell asleep on my friend's mother's room, in my friend's mother's bed, and this fat chick decided to lay next to me. I don't know what the hell I don't know whose friend she was, but she is like super big. Shout out to all the fat girls, man. We're not fat shaming, you know what I'm saying? Uh, but I woke up and everybody's like, "Ah, you fucked up that chick," and I was like, "Nah, bro." I actually threw up all over the fucking floor. It was horrible. And yeah, yeah, that was a night, man. Southern Comfort, bad, crazy nights, crazy nights.
I've heard that from people. Like I've never had that problem, but then it is really super sweet and it'll go straight to you because it seems like the sweet stuff will hit you harder
Yeah,
than the stuff that isn't.
yeah.
And I've had so many stories from people that are like, "I'll never drink Southern Comfort again." I'm like, "Why not? It's great." No, because this happened.
I remember being so drunk off Southern Comfort in PA and Allentown that I would have to sit outside in the freezing cold, take off my jacket, and damn near sit there. Almost, I remember once I sat there with my beater on in like the freezing, like the middle of the winter. You know what I mean? Just so I didn't throw up because I was spinning so bad. It works too. It works. But yeah, I like it, man. It's cool. I'm trying to think of the vodka I always get that I can compare it to. Fuck, I'm drawing a blank. It's been that long since I drank. I stopped drinking them hard about a year and a half ago, maybe 2 years ago. It wasn't absolute. It wasn't too expensive. It was a Svedka. Svedka was my go-to vodka.
Svedka's pretty good as far as I heard. I haven't actually had Svedka yet. Like I've done, because most of my reviews are always weighted towards like the whiskeys and stuff. I've got a couple of rums. I've got a couple of vodkas. Like the Alien vodka's on here somewhere, and it's not good.
It doesn't sound good. I bet it was alien to your taste buds.
Um, I before I moved to Akron, the girl I was with, I told you the story earlier. Actually, that girl, um, she used to drink Orloff.
You're not still with that girl.
No, no.
Fuck her. Whoever his ex was, fuck her.
But it came like the plastic jugs and things, and she'd be like, "Oh, you got to throw the Skittles in there and make Skittles vodka." I'm like, all right, whatever.
That sounded like a really bad.
And it made me throw up like all the time.
Sounds like medicine.
It was. Because
I hate
it's the
that.
bottom shelf stuff. But at the time, I didn't know too much. I had just started getting into drinking stuff. I was like 22 or something like that. I didn't know what I was doing.
I'm not gonna lie. Mine's a little too sweet, and I didn't want to say this because this is not a reflection on the vodka. I know, but it kind of tastes like medicine with my 4C mixed powdered lemonade.
That can happen though.
And I'm curious to see what it tastes like with the soda. Now that I'm done with that. Also, dude, responsible drinkers. I don't know about you, buddy, Spider, but responsible drinkers. Does this pop off or is this okay?
Yeah.
That's pretty cool. Responsible drinkers pour the liquor first, so you know how much you're getting,
That's right.
and then pour the soda or mixer.
That's how you get a good mix.
I'm gonna take it a little easy and do a little bit. See what it tastes like with the soda. With no ice cubes, so be brave with this one. I don't really do vodka and soda. When I do soda, I usually do like dark liquor. I'm a bitch when it comes to drinking, just so y'all know. Yeah, I poured a lot of that. That chaser right there. Yeah. Drink responsibly.
Well, that's the thing too. Like I say it a lot on the channel too. I like to have a drink. I like to enjoy my drink. I don't want to drink just to be like, let's all get wasted.
Yeah.
I want to be able to enjoy what I'm drinking. I want to get that good buzz. I want to have a good time, and that's it. I don't want to like have to pass out or throw up or whatever. Because the worst thing is throwing up.
Oh yeah, spinning. Fuck that.
That was the worst.
Yeah, I what you call it? I haven't spun or thrown up in a long time. But here goes for the soda and the vodka. Very smooth, very smooth. And I see what you're saying. If you had a vanilla Coke,
Yeah, it would have made the difference.
It's almost like a vanilla Coke.
It's close to it, like because you get that little bit of vanilla taste from the vodka, but if it had had that in addition with the Coke itself,
Yeah, definitely knockout.
would have been perfect.
I think even the cream one that you were talking about, the orange one,
cream.
yeah, that'd be dope too. Yeah. So, Spider, I was gonna ask you a question. Something about age. So you see the age. I don't know why I was gonna ask you about age. Because we're how old are you?
41.
41. I'm 35. We're 6 years apart from each other. Yeah, this is good. It's not an acquired taste. It's actually pretty universal. Like it makes it. Vodka should be mixed with any juice. I've never done it with soda like that because I've always felt like it's medicine-y or whatever, a little too much. But this is not overpowering. It's actually pretty good.
The mix is important too. Like you gotta. When you're younger, you don't worry about that. You just like throw it all together, whatever. It doesn't matter. I just want to drink a lot. But and when you're getting older, you're like, well, I want to have, I want to have it taste good, so you get your ratios right. And that's super important because getting the ratios can make something or make it so it's absolutely wrong.
You know, I don't know if you're a Tech Nine fan.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Absolute power.
Everready is like my shit. Absolute Power is what I got put on. But I went back and then got Angelic after Absolute Power. And I actually opened up for Tech Nine in the Everready tour in Allentown, PA at the Crocodile Rock. Favorite album of all time, I think, of Tech. And so he had this drink, Caribou.
Yeah.
We should do that one day. We should review that. That's a very, very, very good drink. Caribou.
You get me the ingredients, we'll put it together.
Hell yeah, let's do it.
We'll mix it up. We'll do it.
We could do it next show if you want.
Because I did. I've done a couple of mixed shows. Usually I just do the straight alcohol, but I've done a couple mixed. One time, and this was the worst possible decision ever. One time for like a milestone episode, I took everything I had in the house.
No.
Because I had a big collection at the time. I don't have as much now because I went through some of it.
Everything is a different liquor.
Every different liquor I had. How many?
Sounds like a recipe for.
It was like 13 different kinds of alcohol into one drink. I called it. That was the Venusian cephalopod drink because it was like an octopus. Because it was the outer space vodka that kicked it off. Because it was supposed to use from space, so it's from Venus.
No.
So I was like, and because it had Kraken rum in it, so the cephalopods, because the squid, the Kraken.
Yeah.
And I put that, but I also had like.
I just learned something new today.
I had like cephalopods. That's what your octopus and your squids and everything. That's your cephalopods. See, got the brains going.
That's different one.
Facts.
They're supposed to be the most highly intelligent creatures on the planet.
If an octopus lived longer, then yeah, they suppose they're smart enough that they could like evolve past us.
They have found them in Antarctica. Not only do like some of them change, like a chameleon can change colors and adapt. You will never see them in the water, but actually, they've been trapped under ice in Antarctica for thousands, if not tens of thousands, maybe hundreds of thousands of years. They're so advanced that if they were to escape, they would take over the world. That's what they said.
And there's a squid that can live forever, basically.
Really?
Like it gets to a certain age, and then it has a process where it basically, like, it sheds off part of its body and reduces its age to like when it's a newborn. Basically, and then it goes again, and they can keep doing that over and over
awesome.
and over unless disease like gets to it or something like that. It's crazy wild. But I had this thing. I mixed them all together. I got a video of it on here somewhere. It was terrible because I didn't know the ratios either. I just did it like an ounce of everything, thinking it would all be like.
It makes me ooey in my stomach.
With the scotch and the bourbon and the vodka and.
Did you think it was gonna be a good idea? How old were you when you did this?
This was like when I was just a couple years ago. This was for this very channel. So let me see what episode it was. I can pull it up right now and find out what episode it was.
Let's do that because I want to check that out as soon as we get off this.
Yeah. Let's see.
That sounds like a horrible idea. What?
It was like
Are you trying to show off or what?
I was just trying to see what I could do. Like I wanted to see if I could make it. Oh well, yeah. It was. I only had one, and that was a struggle to get through. Like,
I almost straight, right?
Yeah.
Oh my
Because you
God.
can't, if you're gonna do that, you can't mix it. You got to take it what it is. If you try to mix it, it ruins the experiment. It
Sounds like a double dog dare right there. I double dog dare you to drink this. Like, yeah,
it was
I'm more man than you. I'm gonna drink it too. Well, I'm gonna drink 3 of them.
it was pretty bad. Let me see if
Shots
I can
or like
find it.
a
No, it was one mixed drink.
fuck that.
One mixed
Yeah.
drink. Um, let's see here. How far back was it? Because I got everything in the playlist here. So I've had some interesting stuff though. Like I've had a lot of rums. I had a lot of beers. I had the one of my favorite bourbons is the bourbon from that's endorsed by Slipknot.
I didn't know that. I
Yeah.
didn't know that.
Clown from Slipknot. He's got a bourbon that he goes through with a distillery called Cedar Ridge, which is excellent. You can get Cedar Ridge's own regular bourbon here on the shelf with like Giant Eagle and stuff.
How much that go for?
Like 32. So it's pretty fair. It's corn whiskey. Like it's got a heavy like because your whiskey's come like heavy on the corn or heavy on the barley or heavy on
I
the
didn't know
rye
that.
and stuff like that. Yeah, it changes the taste.
What is vodka?
Vodka can be from
Potatoes?
potatoes or from apples
Hmm.
or from something else. There was the third one that was really weird. Like I can't remember what it was, but it was really weird. Um, episode 32, the Losing Cephalopod. It was a year ago. I did this like last year.
What's the episode called? So the viewers can find it.
It's episode 32. It's called the Venusian Cephalopod. And
You know, it's funny. Somebody may have vandalized this fucking Ring camera. Shout out to the Ring. You guys suck ass. But Ring camera, right? These guys, somebody has fucked with my car so many times, and I get like notifications that people drive by all the time. But I
that's
never
me
got
standing
the
on your porch.
yeah, that's just standing on the book. But I never get the notifications when somebody's messing with my car. What were you doing? It looks like you did a fucking push up.
I
Easy,
put
dude,
stuff
push
down because I was holding everything.
Yeah. Yeah.
Episode 32.
Episode
If
32.
you go
Check
on
it
this
out.
channel, you go to the Spirits Club playlist. It's episode 32.
Check
I
that
will. We'll watch it afterwards.
Yeah,
Because
you gotta do that. I want to see if that's
it was pretty awful.
Yeah, Semi Comfort never was good to me. And shit, Hennessy. What the fuck? I put my shit off. Could have swore I put it on silent mode. These new iPhones are. It's definitely on silent phone. You can see the ringer.
I don't trust anything from Apple.
I'm starting to not. 12. I've spent over $3,000 on iPhones in the past year and a half. And yeah, Apple, you guys are dropping the ball. I'm gonna shoot an arrow straight through the apple. Bam! Y'all owe me money.
We used to use the Mac computers in school when I was a kid, and I hated them because at home my dad always used like Windows stuff. We used Windows 95 and whatever else came before and after because he was a computer guy. He's computer nuts.
Yeah.
Like he doesn't do it so much anymore, but he built his own water cooled computer once. This thing's ridiculous. Like the new water cooled, they got those little tubes in them. It's all cool stuff. And he didn't do that because it was new. He had these big giant like hoses and everything coming out like a science experiment, running water in and out. And I was like, I don't know what I'm looking at.
That's cool to think about. I've always.
Oh, okay. This is what we're doing today.
Okay. I have to change the settings, man. Sorry about that. Sorry, viewers.
Well, they used to have to watch me have to get up and deal with my dog too, which is, she's not around anymore. But I used to have to take care of my dog 24/7, so I'd have to interrupt videos all the time.
I'll just turn it off. Yeah. Well, back to what we were talking about. Caribou, I'm actually getting a nice buzz from this.
Yeah.
Could be the mood. Did you guys know that
If you're in a certain mood, right? Like if you're in a sad or enraged mood, you could get drunk quicker. I learned that I had gone arrested twice in my life, or 3 times in my life, and I was 17 years old, and got arrested for underage drinking and simple assault. Um, even though I didn't assault anybody.
That's how it usually works out there. It's always like
No,
something comes up.
yeah, I swear, man. Next thing you know, it's just somebody trying to choke me out. I'm just like, yo, get the fuck off me. But anyway, right? So of course I went to jail, and they taught me I had to take this like my probation was to when I got out. I had a probation. You have to take the drinking classes and shit.
Mhm.
For I guess substance abuse, even if you're not like an alky, I would anything to get the fuck out of there for fuck it.
Yeah.
It's stupid to be locked up for alcohol. So we took this class and they told us about how your mood can affect how fast you can get drunk and stuff like that. And yeah, it's true. Like if you're sad or if you're mad or if you're in a certain mood.
The chemicals.
Yeah.
Chemicals. They'll start working towards like the metabolism and everything like that.
Yeah.
Here's another funny story. I got a friend. He's not like a regular guy that I talk to all the time, but every once in a while we'll talk on Facebook. I used
You're
to
a
work
bad
with him.
friend. You don't talk to him all the time.
Well, he's busy. He's a cop.
I'm just playing.
He's a cop, so like
Oh, so
you
that's
don't
right.
always
You don't
hang out
talk
with
to
your
him.
cop.
Yeah, you know what I was
you hang out with your cop friends, but you don't hang out with your cop friends. But I used to work with him before he became a cop. We used to work retail together and stuff.
Yeah.
But he got a hold of me once, like few years back. He's like, hey, so I'm doing part of my training here, and we're learning how to do breathalyzers and stuff. And so we have a thing where we got to get a bunch of people here, and we got to give them a bunch of alcohol, and then do breathalyzer tests on them. I'm like, okay.
Sounds
So
legit.
he's like, hey, so you want to come and hang out on like a sponsored thing where you don't got to drive or anything?
We're gonna give you
much?
free. We're gonna
I'm like,
free alcohol.
You're gonna give me a whole bunch of free alcohol that I'm not gonna be arrested for. I don't gotta drive.
Cool. Sounds
Yeah.
good.
So I went and there's like 12 other people, and all we did that afternoon, we got drunk. And like every hour or so, they would come by and be like, all right, everybody, take your breathalyzer thing. We got to have our trainees test you. We got to have them do the whole walk thing. Like if they'd have pulled you over, so you got to walk the thing. And they get scored for
Is there
how
sober
well they
people too?
catch. Oh, yeah. Well, there was like a couple people that were like sober people
And
as
they
tests.
Yeah, just to see
Yeah,
if it
as
works.
control.
Yeah, of course.
What
But they didn't know who was.
Yeah.
Yeah.
because they would just come in, and I
Okay.
was just like, sure. So then I got drunk for the afternoon.
That's cool.
And what's really funny is the people doing the test were the Canfield police. Canfield is a little town between here and Youngstown.
Wow.
And they got cops who are always ready to pull you over for everything. I've been pulled over like 3 times
Where
on
is
my
it?
way to my sister's. It's like if you go from here,
I don't really leave my house much, but
it's
I
right
would-
outside of Youngstown from this direction.
Yeah, I don't really go. Yeah.
Because my sister lives in Youngstown. So we'll go there for Thanksgiving and things.
It's like through the cornfields and stuff.
Yeah.
Where the country is.
And 3 times going through there, I've been pulled over for something. Always something little, like, oh, well, your taillight was blinking, or you didn't have this, or you didn't have this. And they, like, it was funny that they're always the people that pull me over out there, and then they were involved with this program and things, watching me get drunk for fun.
Wow.
It's funny to me. It might not be funny to anybody else. But it's
Drive responsibly.
Yeah, do that.
It
Though.
sucks when people die over alcohol, driving drunk. It's sad, actually. I had a few friends that have passed away
Yeah.
from that, man. Drive and drink responsibly.
Yeah.
I'm a great drunk driver, by the way. I have never been in an accident drunk driving. I did hit a parked car once, but I was completely sober.
I had a parked car hit, or I
Did you
myself,
just say you had a parked car hit you?
yeah,
That's how I felt.
I had that happen once, but that's because I jumped on it.
I didn't even hit the car, actually. It was an avalanche, and the dude must have had a midlife crisis, whatever. He had like huge rims, probably on the floor up to maybe here, and they were pointed outwards. So when I came by, I clipped his tire, and it just demolished my Corolla, man. And it was a month after I bought it. The Corolla you see outside, yeah. It was a sad, sad night for me. I was sober. My friend brought me down this alleyway. And I'm like, there's no lights. I can't see shit. Are you sure this is where the party is? He's like, yeah, man. GPS says to go through here. I'm like, yeah. He ended up leaving me and going to the party. I had to stay there. Sat there. We drank a little bit at the club we performed at in Florida. But it wasn't enough to get me drunk. I wasn't even buzzed, man. And as soon as that hit that car, that was like a buzz killer. If I did have a buzz, that just shot it away. So then I walked to the 7-Eleven, got some water just to make sure there was nothing. They didn't breathalyze me or nothing. They said, "What happened?" I said, "I don't know, man. This guy's tire was out here. I just clipped it, and I feel bad, man. What's gonna happen?" um, yeah, nothing wrong with his car. His car was
Yeah, I
perfectly
believe
fine.
that.
Yeah,
I
that
believe
freaking
that.
tire, that tire fucked my shit up. It was an expensive mistake. Very expensive mistake. My friend had bad juju because he used to crash all of his cars. I remember I saved him. He had called me a couple weeks later, and he got his car. He had a Nissan Altima stuck on a parking stopper. Yeah, the cement thing,
Mm.
and it was like seesawing on top of the parking. So we're trying to push it
Ooh.
forward, and then we pushed it forward a little bit, and then we tried to push it back. I said, it's probably easier to push it back. Couldn't get it back. They found these country guys had a big ass pickup truck and put it back and pulled it off the thing, and we were good to go. But yeah, my boy used to get fucked up. That was the same guy that I got in the crash with. you know, he lost a lot of cars since then. Shout out to Jay Billy. I hope you're sober now. I found God and changed his life for him.
Speaking of Florida, like you live here now. You were in
Mhm.
Florida before. What's like the drinking culture like between there and here? Is it any different?
I haven't been out here. I haven't been out to the clubs or I have PTSD from Allentown, Pennsylvania. So like,
Mm.
um, every time we went to the bars in Allentown, the clubs in Allentown, I of course wasn't old enough to drink, but somebody would get shot in the club out there. So when I went to Florida, we somebody would get in a fight in PA. So when I went to Florida, I became of age, 21, and then it wasn't fun anymore. But in Florida, man, they do party. I like the best drinking out there. I've been to biker clubs. That was super fun. And
Mm.
we get twisted. It's all love, and nobody lets you drive
Yeah,
home drunk. And I have a lot of biker friends out there, and then the regular clubs. It's really like chill. It's like you just chill. It's like a chill drunk. I'm an entertainer, so I don't really get too fucked up before I get on
yeah.
stage. Something to take the edge off. And then usually when I get off stage, I'll drink more. But never too like crazy, crazy. Orlando, Florida is party, very, very party-ish. You'll see a lot of people get
Because
fucked up.
that's a tourist town,
Hell yeah, hell yeah.
and you get the tourists coming through, like just thinking like I'm just gonna drink and drink, and then they get themselves all messed up.
I'll tell you, like the people that are not from Florida, the cops are very, very strict. So
I believe it.
if you're a local and you live out there, you know not to get too fucked up because they'll pull you over for just about anything.
Yeah,
You can't even wear a hat. I got pulled over. I got pulled over. I swear to God, it's because I had braids, and I have a big ass man, but I had a lot more hair back then. But yeah, man, if you have braids or if you have a hat on, or if you're bumping music loud, obviously if you're bumping music loud, or if
up
you
to
have
no
really
good.
shiny
Up to no
rims,
good, obviously.
yeah, I mean,
Obviously,
how dare you play your music loud?
the old people live here, don't you
Yeah,
know?
how dare you have
It's
fun?
retirement town.
But yeah, you have big rims and stuff. That's why I bought a Toyota Corolla, a brown one. It wasn't my first choice. I wanted
Boring car though, because they're not gonna pull over a boring car.
not that I was doing anything wrong.
Yeah,
I've gotten 2 tickets, and that was during COVID in the same week, driving to work. No traffic, no nothing. I'm like, come on, man, I'm an essential worker. Let me go. But the drinking, I would say the elderly people have more fun. What I've seen, they have more fun than the younger people. The younger people get fucked up, and they get their Ubers home and stuff like that. College is really popping out there.
yeah.
College area. I remember in Alafaya, we met a lot of females in college places. I never got lucky with any of them, but I could have. But I used to get drunk and go to sleep. So yeah. So what do you mean, like the drinking culture?
Well, cause see, I don't go out either. I don't go out to bars and stuff because I'm not a bar guy. I used to when I was with the death metal band, we'd go out to this one place that we used to play at, and even if we weren't playing there, they'd know us, so we'd go there, get something to eat, have a couple beers. that kind of thing. But I know like Florida is known as like there's a lot of tourists that go to Florida, so naturally people are going to drink more because they're tourists and whatnot. But you also have like the retirement people, and they just go and they hang out. So whereas like Ohio's a weird place because you got the farm stuff, but then you got places like Cleveland and Columbus, which are like big. Like Columbus has that big progressive area where it's all like bars and stuff like that. But it's a crazy spot in Ohio because you have a mix of so many different states in it, and a lot of people drink here.
Yes.
Like people tend to get drunk here and then just like pass out all over the place. But it's not necessarily to have to party or to do whatever. People just drink a ton.
Yeah.
Here in Ohio.
Expensive drinkers.
Yeah.
I noticed you guys are very expensive drinkers. The difference between out there and out here. I mean, people are expensive out in Florida. They dress differently out there. Everybody's more flashy and cheaper with the alcohol, believe it or not. Out here, when I go to the liquor store, I see people buy like $100, $200 bottles of alcohol, and my age or younger, they want the name brand shit. Me, I kind of stick to my the vodka that I was telling you about. I totally forgot the name of it. It's the vodka.
Yeah, this vodka.
Once in a while, I'll revisit E&J. I have a bottle upstairs, the E&J VSOP, but only VSOP. I won't drink the regular one. But yeah, you guys are more classy drinkers out here. In Florida, people that I don't really hit the clubs like that unless I'm performing, but they get like. I remember once I went to this tattoo convention in Tampa, and it was like $20 to get in, and it's all you could drink, and I think it's like bottom shelf. We got wasted. That was pretty fun. Miami's pretty cool. Miami liquor stores stay open past 9 o'clock. In Florida, there's certain counties that you can't buy alcohol after. You can't buy alcohol on Saturdays or Sundays. Sundays mainly in certain counties, and then 9 o'clock is the cutoff time. They don't sell alcohol. I don't know if it's like that out here.
They used to like Sunday used to be the only day that you couldn't buy alcohol, and they changed that during the virus because they were like, people are going to stay home, they're going to drink. We got to give them something so they're going to be like not like getting out and causing problems. Yeah. So there was a state law that changed, so now you can buy alcohol on Sundays over a certain group. It used to be like you could only buy beer and stuff, and now you can buy anything, which is good for people like me, but it's also bad for people who are not responsible because now they'll just go and like drink an extra day. You got that one day that you're supposed to be sober every week.
Yeah. I didn't know it was. I didn't know that law was because of. I thought it was more like a Commonwealth church thing where the people make the rules.
Probably at the time, like way back, and then they just took the opportunity to change it because they changed a couple of liquor laws during it because they changed it so that you could get alcohol delivered, which you couldn't do before.
I think that's pretty cool.
And they changed it so that you could take it outside of the building on like a patio and things like that to go. Because you couldn't do that before, but they were like, we don't want people inside hanging out because of the virus or whatever. So they said, if you want to go, you can go drink, but you got to drink on the patio in the open air.
I'll tell you about the COVID thing in Florida was non-existent. The only thing it hurt was local businesses. Bars were actually still open, believe it or not.
Yeah.
I mean, they said they were, but.
Were you down there when the current governor was down there, when DeSantis was in charge? Yeah, because he was just like, nah, we ain't doing this. We ain't doing any of this kind of stuff.
It's weird. It's so weird. I was an essential worker, so I worked for Spectrum when I was down there. And so Buffalo Wild Wings, you can still get your stuff to go. You still sit at the bar and order drinks. But then the mom and pop shops, mom and pop bars, stuff like that, all closed down.
Yeah.
The only thing you can get is like McDonald's, Taco Bell, and McDonald's closed down the dollar menu, which is blows my mind.
I miss it.
Blows my mind. Why would
the
you
only
do
reason
that?
to go to McDonald's?
Yeah,
to get the dollar stuff. I'm not gonna pay $9 for a Big Mac.
2 McDoubles and a
it ain't
McChicken,
gonna happen.
and you cook it together and pop. But now it's like you buy one get
You
one
can't
free.
even get the dollar stuff at Taco Bell anymore. You gotta get like they got rid of
it's
that
fucked
menu.
up, man.
Like
Remember when they used to have a fucking $2 Big Mac?
Yeah.
Oh my
I
god,
miss it.
that was
I miss
shit.
it. Now a single Big
I
Mac
feel
is
like a
like
fucking
$9.
old fucker, yeah. And all it is just like a. I used to work at McDonald's, and it was one of the worst jobs when I was like 15, 16. And yeah, all it is just a regular patty, two regular patties
Yeah.
with a piece of I'm a little tipsy, guys.
Don't do that.
Wood in between. I have wood. No, it might as well be toasted wood. No, like a pretzel bun. No, it's like so
You
it's
got that
two
bun piece.
the fucking bread, man. That's
Yeah.
what I was looking for. Bread and all it is an extra piece of bread in the middle, some poppy seed stuff on the top, and mac sauce and lettuce and shit. I mean, you know what I do? I'm gonna show you a life hack right now. I'm gonna show you guys a life hack.
Listen
Okay?
up.
Listen up very closely.
Listen up.
Fuck the Big Macs. Get 2 McDoubles and mac sauce. It'll cost you a little less, and it's just as great, just as good.
See, I make some at home sometimes. Like I'll get the smash burgers, and I'll like get the buns and
It's a
stuff,
smash burger.
and I'll like get the
Oh, you're talking about the
Yeah,
box of burgers and shit.
Yeah.
Smash burgers. Yeah, yeah.
yeah, and I'll get the shredded lettuce, and I'll get the Thousand Island dressing because that's basically what the mac sauce is. It's
Yeah.
basically Thousand Island.
Mayonnaise and ketchup.
Real close. Yeah, super super close. And so I'll get that, and I'll make my own, and they're huge.
You gotta invite me over sometime. Of course, I had a fucking Mac right now.
I remember like when
That
I was a
sounds
kid
great.
too. Like this is crazy.
No, we just ate.
Like when you're a kid, you see like they have the styrofoam containers.
Yeah.
And the burgers are massive.
Oh yeah.
Like they're huge. I
They're
remember
model
even
burgers.
when everybody changed their fries. Like Burger King changed their fries, they're not as good. McDonald's changed their fries, they're not as good.
They don't salt them much at Burger
Wendy's
King.
changed their fries, they're not as good. They use like they're saying, oh yeah, they're better potatoes and whatnot, but they're not as good. I want the
McDonald's-
worst potatoes.
McDonald's actually, a lot of people don't know that there was like a lawsuit. McDonald's used to use the grease from burgers, fry their
Yeah.
fries with it. I don't know if they still do, but that's why we were all addicted to their fries because they had that
Yeah.
grease from burgers. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's actually genius if you think about it.
Yeah, they're not allowed to anymore. Everybody's got like the clean oil stuff and whatnot. You got to do that differently. But I remember that because it used to be because it was a big thing because people who were vegetarian or whatever, they couldn't eat McDonald's fries because they were in the burger fat.
How would they know? Vegetarians, how do you guys know?
Because somebody looked it up and did a special investigation.
Ew, I ate oil from a fucking. Come on, guys.
But see, the thing about that too is
Yeah.
like you go to Wendy's or you go to wherever and they're cooking the chicken in the same oil they're cooking the fries. You know, if they're going to deep fry, they're using the same deep fryer. They're not using like 5 deep fryers.
Actually, I beg to differ. I've seen
Okay, you can prove me wrong.
I've seen them be separated.
Maybe things are more
Like,
enlightened now
I've
than I
seen
thought.
two fryers, and then I've seen the chicken. Yeah,
See,
but you're right. Some places are mixed
a
together.
lot of places still
I worked in a bowling alley, and we had it mixed together.
because it's cost effective. You use the same oil and you just change it the same oil.
I used to hate changing oil. That shit sucks.
I worked at a Perkins restaurant in Conneaut, Ohio, where I used to live for a while. I was the dishwasher, but I also used to have to occasionally. I'd have to cook sometimes if somebody called off or whatever. And like when I cook,
dishwasher that had to cook.
yeah, when I cook for me usually at home. I don't care what it looks like as long as it tastes good.
Yeah.
And the problem is, if I'm cooking for other people, I can't get out of that mindset. So I'm not going to make stuff.
Perfectionist.
Sometimes the pancakes are this big, sometimes they're this big.
But they're gonna be
Sometimes-
slamming.
Yeah, they're going to taste delicious.
But visually, it's not.
And so they would always get mad at me. They'd be like, "Why does it look like this?" I'm like, "Don't care what it looks like, just eat it."
Yeah.
It made me mad. But that's the only job I got fired from. The Perkins job.
I hate
The only
working.
job I got
I will
fired.
never take another restaurant job at all. I'm too overly qualified. I feel like I'm too good for it.
I
Shout out to all the people that work at restaurants and fast food and everything it's a hard job, and I respect y'all for real. And I busted my ass for years in kitchens and shit like that.
I got fired for saying something that I shouldn't have with my fist to a waitress. because
Fuck you, man.
because like as a dishwasher, like
When do you say that, man?
it wasn't terrible. I'm gonna tell the story. I can tell the story.
I want to know.
I've told the story before, so it's fair. I don't.
It's
feel
only
shame about
fair.
it. It's okay. Like I should. I shouldn't have done it. I'll say that, but I'm not going to be like, you know what, I did say it, so it's fair. Whatever. Um, as a dishwasher, you gotta you gotta do all the stuff. Whatever. The waitresses at that restaurant, when they come back, they're supposed to scrape off the plates, to make it easier for the dishwasher because whatever. So I was back there. This lady drops off a whole bunch of plates, and I'm like, okay, make sure you scrape those when you come back, because she just ran off and she started like yelling and screaming and throwing a fan, like I got customers and whatever. And I was just like, for whatever reason, I was in a mood that day. I don't know what it was. I had a lot of angst when I was at that job. I was just an angsty dude. And I had a lot of emo stuff going on in my brain at the time. So I was like, I'm gonna put up with this. So I went out there, out where all the customers were, where she's at. And I was like, the next time you come yell at me, I'm gonna bust your teeth out.
Mm.
Not the right thing to say in front of customers.
Those things happen in the kitchen, man.
Yeah.
I was a dishwasher for Bonefish, and man, I just motherfuckers getting paid more than me, and I'm busting my ass.
Yeah.
People are like, hurry up, motherfucker, chill out. Why don't y'all bring it back when you're supposed to bring it back, and then we won't have an overload of dishes, Because we're just like nonstop. You know what I do with dishwasher?
Yeah.
I'm
On
sorry,
peak times, you're just going.
Did I cut off your story?
No, that was basically it. Like I got fired for that because you threatened somebody.
Fuck them.
No, I got fired for that.
Fucking sissies, man. This world is too fucking sensitive for real. You can't say anything nowadays. Fuck the world, man.
This was
You need to be in Europe or something.
because I was in my 20s, so it was at least like early 2000s.
No, uncensored things are in Europe.
I believe it.
They can curse and shit on they show titties and shit on TV and shit.
When I was in high school, we had an exchange student from Germany, and we had because I was in marching band and all that other stuff, and he was in there helping out, and they had a party at the house that the exchange student he was staying at. Like they were his sponsor family. And in Germany, if you can reach the bar, you can get a drink.
Oh, from Germany.
They don't check your age so much unless you're like 12 years old or something like that. But he was like, I don't know, 15, 14, something like that. But he used to drink regularly. He used to drink beer. Here, he can't do that. So he was drink he had to drink like O'Doul's and stuff to get the taste of it, but it's non-alcoholic. But he could still feel like, okay. So he asked us, he's like, hey, do you guys want to have a drink? I'm like, yeah, sure, because we're all underage and we don't know.
Yeah, it was like, fuck
and
yeah.
He's like, oh yeah, because I got O'Doul's and stuff, and I didn't know what it was.
Yeah.
I thought I was like, big
so you did. So you didn't.
Because he didn't have it.
How old were you?
I was 13.
You didn't drink when you were 13?
Nah.
Wow. Man, that was the first time I got fucked up.
It was funny. Later on, when I was 15, I was at a buddy's house, and we were hanging out, and his brother came through, and he's like, hey, so our folks are asleep. You guys want to have beer? And we're like, yeah, obviously, because we're tough.
We're fucking mad.
So he was like,
we got a few whiskers.
We had Coors or something like that. Yeah. I was drinking it, but it was horrible because it was Coors.
Hell yeah.
But I was like, I'm trying to be
fuck that.
So I tried mixing it with my Mountain Dew and stuff, thinking that I'm going to take the taste off.
Special
it didn't help.
You try to make it special brew.
It didn't help.
Hell no.
That was dumb.
Man,
but I was 15 at the time, and I was like, it's farmland, Pennsylvania.
Yeah.
It's not we're not smart about that kind of stuff. Which they had better access to meth and stuff than they had to kids drinking alcohol.
Anywhere, and I hate to say this, and I don't want to sound racist. I'm Irish, Italian, Puerto Rican, so I'm a little bit of everything. But yeah, man, wherever you find a lot of white people, you always find meth and heroin. And it sucks, man. It's an epidemic, man. It's fucking horrible. It destroys a lot of lives. But yeah, you're right. It's easier to find drugs than to find alcohol. But it, in another sense, I mean, we don't want a bunch of meth down fucking teenagers.
Yeah.
But I'm not condoning it. I'm just saying, I guess I'm not going to say it's a safer alternative either, but drinking has killed a lot of young people's lives, man.
True.
I think they should just pass, I'm glad that they're passing this marijuana law. I think it's the lesser of all evils, and I think they should have did it a long time ago, man. Because I've been smoking weed since I was 12.
It's inevitable. It was going to happen. So many states are going across, and you don't have to go crazy. Portland went nuts. They're everything's legal now.
Yeah, I heard about Portland, and I heard
And now
about.
they're like they had to repeal that because they're having so many problems because people are doing like LSD and mushrooms and meth and
I didn't
heroin
know. I
and
didn't know.
whatever.
I didn't know. I heard the epidemic of. I heard that there is less overdoses and stuff over there because of that.
There
I heard
was at
that people
first.
don't go to jail over that. I heard that also there's like tent cities and stuff
Yeah.
like that. It's kind of sad, man. It's kind of sad to see the whole world go to shit, and it's like an underground. For moving out here, from going from the east coast of Pennsylvania, I say east coast even though it's not a coast, but like the east side of Pennsylvania,
Yeah.
and I'm from Brooklyn, New York. So my neighborhood cleaned up a lot since I was a youngin. We were like, and this has nothing to do with race, by the way, but it does. I'm gonna mention it because this is what I noticed as a kid. So we was like a tight knit community in New York. What I miss about New York the most is that we had a bunch of different. It's a melting pot for like all immigrants.
Yeah.
We have Italians, Irish, um, Puerto Ricans, African Americans, Haitians, Jamaicans, West Indian, everybody like from all different cultures, Indians, everybody. And Our neighborhood started getting invaded by the rich Polish people. And of course, it didn't matter what race you were. Everybody's like, fuck the Polish, they're taking over our fucking neighborhood and buying all the fucking stores and shit like that. And things were changing in the neighborhood. And we had our neighborhood pretty much on lock in Greenpoint, New York, man. It was a tight knit community. We all knew each other. We all got along with each other. And it's always been like that in New York where people come with more money and take over. And they don't like the new kid on the block. And nothing against the Polish. I like everybody. I hate all humans equally.
That's a fair point.
but
People have
I
heard me say that before.
but
That's a fair point.
I don't dislike a certain type of human more than others. Nothing like that. I can't because I'm a little mixed with everything. My family's a little bit of everything. But man, the Polish took over and what was I going with this? I'm a little tipsy, by the way. This shit got me fucking
See?
faded.
See?
I like this. I can do this. You know what I mean? I don't know how I would be with a woman on this, but right, I that's another thing. See, that's another thing. Um, we have to judge the liquor on how. And I'm going off subject again because I have to finish what I was gonna say because you guys are gonna judge me on that. Um, let's go back to that, and then we'll go back to the woman thing on the liquor. But it's a melting pot. So like everybody is from everywhere in New York. So we didn't see like color and shit like that. And except for the Polish. And I'm sorry, but the Polish just had. I mean, it's not their fault, you know.
They just
but
happened to be that kind of people when they came in. And so when you see that coming in,
you're like,
it's
damn,
human
we're
nature
taking
kind of
over
being like,
everything, and it's like, what were we talking about before I mentioned that? About I don't know, but anyways, look, so going to PA, and then going to New York, going to Florida, and then coming out here to Ohio. Um, the cultures is so different. Like I didn't see racism until I went to Florida, and the cliques and the schools, man. When I was in, I don't even know if we were talking about that, but I want to talk about it anyways.
yeah,
Going from New York, where everybody was everybody, your neighbors were like all different types of races and stuff like that, and we were just cool with each other. And going to Florida and then going to school, um, you had like everybody kind of stuck with their own kind in Florida, and then you had like the preppy kids who were like really and fit, and their families were rich, and they always got on all the school teams and the basketball teams, football
the
teams,
whole
shit like that.
families have been there a while.
Yeah, and they always got favored by
Yeah.
all the teachers and shit. And then like me, and this has nothing to do with what the hell I was gonna say. I forgot what I was gonna say, but um um I was there in the middle, and all my friends were all different races, man. My beat maker, I actually just talked to him the other day. Shout out to Patrick Coleman, man. He's gonna be out of jail soon. Hopefully he gets this 1 year thing, and because they're doing something with marijuana, but top, he's gonna be doing 2 more years, and I can't wait till he gets out. This is my OG producer. We know each other since we was kids, and we used to beat on the table with fucking pencils and shit. And I used to freestyle and shit. Man, it was but back to the subject. My lunch table was like we had a guy from Trinidad, Tobago, Trinidad, and he was I believe that was the country. He didn't know much English. I felt bad for him because people were making fun of him. I really believe it or not, I was against bullies, man. I used to they used to try to bully me when I was a kid. I got beat up a few times, but I always stuck up for mine. And whether I won or lost, but I didn't like it when they made fun of this kid who had the weird accent. And I understood what the hell he was saying. It sucked, man, because I like to stutter and shit. And nobody understood. And I was like, the teacher was like, "What'd you say? What'd you say? What'd you say?" And I was like, "He said, da 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 da." So I became friends with this guy. And our lunch table was like filled with like everybody, man. We had Mexican, Puerto Ricans, whites, blacks, whatever. And my corner of the table was about 8 or 10 of us, and we were all into music and shit. And we didn't see color and shit. And I don't know why the fuck I'm talking about this now because I forgot what I was gonna say. So yeah, we were talking about Canton and
Yeah.
wherever you find like country, it's more prominent to find certain drugs. I guess is that what we were
Yeah.
talking about? Um, Florida, the epidemic, man, of I would say the meth epidemic just started a couple years ago. Yeah, it got more popularized by Breaking Bad.
It's
Ever
funny.
since Breaking Bad came out, it's been more acceptable.
I don't mean funny like it's funny like a joke. But it's just interesting that the the meth thing it came up from like up through South America, and it hit the central states first.
Yeah, I was gonna ask you about that
It
too.
hit
That's
places like Ohio and things real hard. Like we're in the middle of it right now.
Yeah,
It's real bad.
in this country.
And then it slowly filtered down to places where you would expect it to hit first,
Oh, we didn't know
places like
nothing
Florida
about
and California and whatnot.
bro. I knew nothing about that.
But it's taken over Ohio. Like I had neighbors once that got busted, and what's funny is the police they couldn't do anything about it because they were on their own property, even though they were doing something obviously illegal.
Was it like
They were shooting heroin in their feet.
Was it a short house to house property like on my neighborhood, or was it like a country where it's like away from? Was it like a country area where the houses are away from other houses?
In Canton, it's right there in town. Like they were right next to me.
Yeah.
This is like the suburbs, right?
But they
there.
wasn't like cooking up or anything. Right?
No, they weren't cooking anything, but I could see. I mean, she was buying it, but she wasn't making it. So, and that's the difference too. If you're just using it, they're
They
going
don't
to hit
care.
you for it because you're not corrupting other people, supposedly. But like she would be sitting out in the driveway with her kid in the back seat of the car. She'd be in the car shooting it into her feet because I'd see her with the spoon, like hooking the spoon, and then putting the syringe in it, and then doing the thing. And like the police came out once and they're like, "We understand you might have a problem. These are the resources you have available." That's all they could do because she wasn't out doing it technically in public, even though it was in the driveway, bright open air. It was still that property. And it was crazy because this kid, like, he would sometimes we'd see him outside and he'd say, "Yeah, can I have a drink of water? Because we don't have any water in the house."
That's sad.
I'm like,
That's sad. It's becoming an epidemic everywhere, man. I say it hit Florida really bad. We had Molly first. Molly was like the party drug.
yeah,
And if you know anything about anything, they say it's like one molecule off from methamphetamine.
yeah,
And everybody was doing Molly, man. It's something that I kind of skipped over. I never really got into the trends and shit like that. When I was growing up, it was never really cool to do drugs. If you ever watch New Jack City, nobody wanted to be Pookie. And nowadays, everybody is Pookie. The drug dealers turn Pookie. Everybody turned Pookie. And as you get older, I mean, everybody dabbles and tries things and stuff. I've tried Molly with my friends and stuff. Just never was for me. But Molly hit really bad in Florida and the Flocka and the zombies and the people eating.
yeah.
I remember when the people were eating.
That guy was
faces
on the highway and like, he was naked. He was
I was
trying
there
to
when
like,
that
eat the
happened.
face.
A
Like,
lot of people. We're gonna venture off into another subject while we're talking about this subject. But the Flocka, they say it was meth. They say it was Flocka. They said it was mine. And this Flocka thing, I never tried that. The bath salts, never tried that. Never had the urge to try anything.
yeah.
Crazy. I mean, if people are eating faces off, I'm good.
No
on that,
thanks.
you know what I mean?
I'll pass.
I'll pass on it.
I'll pass.
But that week, actually, I did a lot of research. I'm a conspiracy theorist. Theorist. That's the word my friends call me. But that week, actually, a school got quarantined. They dropped a bag over a whole school on some Resident Evil fucking Raccoon City shit, right?
I'll
So
do it.
there was chemicals that washed up on shore that very same morning that the guy ate the guy's face, ate his face off. That same week, that same morning, I believe,
school, it was a middle school, I believe, and you guys can Google this and check this out if you could find the news clip of the guy who ate the face. A school got quarantined. It was in I don't know, some part of South Florida. These barrels of unknown chemicals washed up on shore. They shut the beach down. The school was not too far from there. They quarantined the school on some Raccoon City shit, Resident Evil shit. And then the guy ate the face of the other guy. The bum ate the face of the other bum. And then there was a college student who was taking there was a college student who was flying back to I want to say either New York or Illinois, somewhere in the Northeast. I don't know why you guys call it Midwest. You guys are more east. We're more east than west, but they call it
Ohio
Midwest.
was like the absolute edge of the Midwest.
So there's like no mid east.
That's
There's
what
just
it is.
it's just either east, Midwest, or west.
Yeah.
It just west just took over. I don't understand. You guys are like cousins to us. You know what I'm saying? Because we're not next to Pennsylvania.
Yeah.
Pennsylvania is the East Coast.
Yeah.
So, but back to the subject. So, right. So the guy at the same. This has all happened in the same day. The guy got on a plane and he started chewing. He got into the cockpit of the plane and he chewed the face of the pilot. And then in that same week, somebody went from Florida to I believe it was Chicago, and the another college student ate his murdered his roommate. And this is all in the news. You can check this out. This is a true story. It's not a conspiracy shit. And he ate his roommate and everything except for his brain.
I remember all
And
this.
they found his brain in the basement of his parents' house, and he was trying to dispose of it.
Yeah.
And they caught him when his roommate went missing. So that whole week was a very eerie week, and I believe it has something. I really don't believe it was flocka, but the chemicals that washed up on shore was very suspect, and you should do your research.
Oh, yeah.
we should
Like-
we should talk about this.
I 100% expect, because if you're gonna have like a zombie apocalypse event happen, that was the time. Because there wasn't just the one story; there were so many stories.
It all happened
All
in one
stacked
week,
together.
bro. And I was like, I looked at it and I looked into it for like a whole month.
And they kept saying, "Oh, it's because the
Blah.
bath salts."
It's the bath salts
And
and
we're
I don't-
like, okay, but is that it? Like,
Let's go back. Remember the first story? We all know about this rapper, and it wasn't Brother Lynch Hung.
yeah,
Brother Lynch Hung took the persona of Big Lurch, the Texas rapper, who ate his girlfriend's brains in the middle of the street off of PCP.
yeah,
PA. When I was growing up, PA. There was in Cali back in the day in the 80s and 90s. Gang members were forced to smoke PCP. We call it wet. Embalming fluid. And they dip cigarettes in there. Sherm sticks. They call it Sherm. To forget the things they do on their mission, or their initiation mission, back in the early 80s when gaming started, shit like that, and they need to do missions and stuff. And so it's to get you can get the adrenaline like 10 men doing that stuff. And so this rapper, Big Lurch, he ate his girlfriend's brains in the middle of the street. Don't know what happened, said the devil made him do it. Whatever. They said he was on PCP, still locked up. And that had nothing to do with flocka. But drugs make you do crazy things, man. I don't believe it was the flocka. I think it was some chemical. And I think that I saw I know this is bouncing all over the place with subjects. I got ADHD, by the way. I didn't take medicine today. But yeah, there's a connection between chemicals and the Nazis did a hell of a fucking job with their chemical mixes.
a lot of experiments.
I've seen them. I've seen a black and white. You can YouTube this. I've seen a black and white video of them taking a dead dog and reanimate. They cut his head off and they sewed it back together. They put the organs back together. I don't know how they did it, but they brought him back to life. And he wasn't quite fully functional as a regular dog. But yeah, they had him walking and shit.
Yeah, because a lot of our
They're Nazis.
what's funny is, again, not really funny. Like, I'm not going to laugh about it. It's not a joke, but
Ironic.
is that a lot of the scientists back in World War II, at the end of World War II, a lot of the German scientists
America.
got brought over to America.
Yep.
You got Operation
We
Paperclip,
saved some of them. Yeah.
all that stuff. And that's how we developed the atomic weapons.
Mhm.
That's how we developed jet engine technology, because Germany had it first. And so there's a lot of other things that they developed that isn't public knowledge. And
What was that island off New York?
We had
Center for
Alcatraz.
Disease Control. We had an island that they brought scientists. Lyme disease was created
Yeah,
on the it was right off of Long Island. There was a little fucking island. It's called the Center for Disease Control now. But what you're talking about? We had a Nazi scientist, and we actually kidnapped that guy. But Einstein came here on his own free will.
yeah.
He's
we
right.
had a few that came
American
separately, but we gave a few of them pardons and sanctuary for what they had done.
Teach us some shit, and we'll.
Yeah. And then we had things like we had the Tuskegee experiment, where we did the vaccines on the Tuskegee African American airmen and things like that, where we told them, "Oh yeah, this is going to help you," and it was all just fake stuff, and they suffered. They suffered.
I heard about
Yeah.
Hillary Clinton, man. She went to South America and injected a bunch of people with like syphilis and herpes and stuff. And
That's what
said that it
Bill
was a-
Gates. Bill Gates had that vaccine trials
yeah.
that
Those
they
were
would
not
take
vaccines.
overseas to like the Congo.
What
And
kind of
things like
vaccine was that for?
that. See,
That's fucked
because
up.
they're trying to clear like Ebola and things like that. And
How the hell you get fucking venereal diseases from Ebola vaccine? That don't
it's
make no sense.
crazy, all these connections and things.
And Brazilian women are fucking beautiful, by the way. Why would they do that? They just come on, bro. Like
Travesty. It's
Shit.
it's against.
it's a
It's a crime against humanity.
it should be illegal. It's a
Crime against humanity.
fucking Clintons, man. Why wait? You think Bill had a better come on, man. Hillary, come on, bro. You're injecting all these beautiful people with fucked up diseases, man. You should have just left Hillary. Wait, you should have left Monica alone. Get yourself a
But that's like a thing that we do. Like we've ever since like the Spanish would come to the Americas and they would pass on the smallpox and things to the natives and things like that. And this kind of thing is just a continuing, like, instead of just randomly letting it happen, now we're doing it on purpose. Just
I
to
think the
see.
COVID was definitely an answer. When Trump said that we're not getting fucked by the Chinese, when he's put his foot down, I think their answer, and I'm not saying that all Chinese people are bad. I'm saying the government is like, yo, we do this to our own people. We don't give a fuck about y'all. So he said, boom.
No,
They
I have a
said,
lot of
boom.
thoughts
They
about
let, they
that.
let that go.
But I know for a fact that YouTube will take this video down if we keep talking.
Oh, let's not talk about it. I don't want to get
Because
sniped.
they've hit us before.
Listen,
On
I'm
my
already-
other show, I didn't even talk about it. I just said something about vaccines once.
Yeah, I'm
Not
already
even
getting
bad.
hacked. I'm
and
already
they took
getting
it
hacked.
down.
I don't need no more hacking.
And they
bro.
took it
want
down.
it.
We
It's
had
the
to appeal
Illuminati.
it. They put it back up. But
The
that's
Illuminati.
like I got a lot to say about that.
We need to talk about that for
I got a lot to say about that.
But yeah, back to the epidemic, man. Yeah, Molly hit down south, and then now it's like all about that. And I don't
Yeah.
think people will ever. I don't think the H will ever catch on down south like that. Maybe in small little communities and shit. But there's like an underground whole lifestyle that people don't know about. And unfortunately, I caught up with an old friend. I'm not gonna say his name because we're still friends, and he's sober now, thank God. And he's a very good friend of mine. And I saw the underground of the underground. So there's like a whole underground society of people who use these crazy drugs, and you would never know.
Yeah.
In Canton, like it's so obvious out here, and
Yeah.
people are so upfront with it. And in like certain places in Florida, like Winter Haven, it's regular. Like the way people smoke weed, it's like regular out there to do these hardcore drugs. It's sad, man. It ruins a lot of people's lives and make you look older. And it affects everything, man. And it's really sad. But yeah, what you were saying, so it did in Florida, it just hit about maybe, I want to say maybe 4 to 5 years ago. The ice thing out there. But out here, it seems like so acceptable.
It hits the rural places first.
Yeah. It seems like
And you don't necessarily think about Ohio as like a rural place necessarily because you got the big cities, you got Cleveland, you got Columbus. But much of Ohio is just that wide open, like.
We don't think about Ohio anywhere else. I've lived all over the, and I don't, no disrespect. I love Ohio. I think it's beautiful.
Oh yeah, like it's a great place to be, but it's like the people are. I don't know.
Deficiency of vitamin D in the sun.
I don't want to be down on the people because I live here and I've got all kinds of problems. I'll admit.
Some of the people are really fucking awesome, out here. But some of the people are, man, I've met some weird people out here.
I would love to just live off in the country in this state.
That's what I keep telling my cousin and my aunt. I'm like, yo, wait, pay this house off, get the fuck out of here, rent this shit out. Let's go get a house in the country and get away.
Don't even need to farm the land. Just get some farm land.
Yeah.
But just leave it. and just like mow it and just keep it nice
Let
and
the
just hang
deer-
out in it.
yeah,
Do
let the
barbecues,
deer-
do whatever. Drive like 20 minutes to town for groceries or whatever, you know. And even now, you don't even gotta do that. You can do like Instacart, you can do like freaking DoorDash and get all that stuff.
I want to move down Cleveland out southwest where all the trees are and shit.
Yeah,
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
like they have a little supermarket out there. They don't have shit out there, man.
yeah,
I would make $1 million out there if I had a little restaurant or even like a little store.
absolutely.
They have nothing out there. I think it's lack of resources in the community, and lack of entrepreneurs, and there's no money. If people came out here and I'd hate to say it, but exploited, used their resources and brought new energy and new ideas out here, we'd have a lot more things.
Yeah.
Yeah, but it's sad how the epidemic of drugs have taken over America, and I'm sure that there's worse cities and states and stuff like that. But I do see as more TV shows and shit come out, it's becoming more acceptable. Because before Breaking Bad, I didn't know nothing
Yeah.
about that. Never would imagine. I thought maybe like in the middle of Texas or maybe in like Iowa, Idaho, or like fucking Alabama. No offense, but Alabama, where like the hills have eyes, or Virginia. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Where, like people are inbred and shit. Like they all do crazy drugs like that. But it's becoming so acceptable, and it's so sad, man, because it ruins families and it ruins people, man. It really does.
And I've been to West Virginia. West Virginia is beautiful.
Super
Absolutely
beautiful. The mountains. Hell yeah.
But the problem is their communities are all dying out because instead of doing all the stuff they used to do, like they don't do the mining and the coal mining, whatever. Now a lot of times they just the kids all start getting into the drugs because that's what you get in the rural
Nothing to
places,
do.
and that's
There's
it.
nothing
That's
to
it.
do. There's
Yeah.
nothing to do. Like
And the towns are suffering. Like the town where, and this ties into other stuff too, where
that's what
the Flatwoods Green Monster. You ever heard about that?
No.
That's a good story. But Flatwoods, Sutton, West Virginia. I've been down there a couple of times,
Uh-huh.
and there's so many just buildings just shut down down there. This little tiny town, and there's nothing happening there, which is really unfortunate. It's a beautiful town, beautiful area, and it's because the drugs and things are moving in and taking over, and it's too bad.
Wherever you find poverty, you'll find more violence, and you'll find drugs, and then eventually the area gets gentrified, and rich people move in and make something of it. I saw properties, and you can buy a whole block in fucking Detroit for like $1,000.
Oh yeah,
Literally, you can
Like-
buy.
I don't know if you've ever watched like Top Gear, the three guys who do car reviews and stuff from England. They did this tour in Detroit. They did like muscle cars in Detroit because that's where you used to always get like that's where they built the cars back in the day. Now all those factories are shut down.
Yeah, shut down.
Whole neighborhoods
They don't
are
have to
empty.
be. They don't have to be fucked up out there.
Yeah.
Flint, the Flint, Michigan, the watershed.
Yeah.
That shit should have been the number. I mean, Biden promised everybody. There's resources. The money that he spent.
And now you don't hear anything about it.
you
It's still ongoing.
It's still ongoing. The
Like
people
if
are
you
still
dig
suffering.
for it, you
I've
can
been there.
find stories from the people, and they're like, "Yeah, nothing's been done."
I've been out there. They're still suffering,
Yeah.
and
But they got money for everything else, you know.
Yeah.
They got money
Detroit,
got
you
money
can
for
literally
bricks.
Buy a house
for Antifa.
for like $1,000.
Yeah.
It's like a 3-bedroom house
Mhm.
in a nice neighborhood that would be a nice neighborhood if everybody kept the houses.
Yeah, but it's
But
fucked
they're
up,
all empty.
and people are selling drugs out of them, put them
Yeah.
on fire. I'll tell you this, man. Future of Detroit. It is going to be a great city in the next 20 years. It is a great city. The people aren't really as bad as you think they are. And what the stigma on it, it's just poverty. Wherever you find poverty, you find violence. But I've been out there, and I plan on purchasing some land out there because I really feel like they're going to turn it into casinos, and that's how they're going to get it out of debt. I heard that they are in so much debt they can't pay the police, and that's why the violence and the crime is so high.
It's like RoboCop movies. Like it's funny because you think, "Oh, that's just a movie."
What's the one with Sylvester
What's
Stallone?
Um,
You know what I'm talking about? Where
is
you get the fine for cursing?
that's the one from where he like wakes up in the future.
Yes.
Demolition Man.
Demolition Man.
Demolition Man.
That's where
Wesley
we're heading.
Snipes.
That's where we're heading right now.
Yeah,
Because I get fucking taken down from Facebook all the time.
Yeah.
And oh my God, it sucks.
and he's sitting there in front of the thing saying, "You want Let's give him
been
tickets,
fine.
tickets,
You've been
tickets.
fine.
But it's like that, and like RoboCop and stuff, where like the corporations are just like, yeah, we're just gonna sell off everything. We don't
Yeah.
care. We're gonna build a new city. Who cares about your city?
Yeah.
Your city sucks. And it's like,
Did you know in New York, right? They have certain boroughs, like in the Bronx and in Brooklyn. Well, Brooklyn they cleaned up a lot. My old neighborhood. That's what we were talking about at first.
Yeah.
The in
my neighborhood.
my neighborhood was a little grimy back in the day, man. I mean, but then, shit, I ain't even mad that the police came by. I mean, they polished things up. They made it nice and it's nicer. I loved my neighbor. I still love my neighborhood. Some of my friends still live, and there's like this rent law where you can't raise the rent. Some people still pay like $59 a month. But back to what we're talking about. So uh uh so uh Detroit is going to be casinos, okay, and they're going to get out of debt through that. It's going to take a while. They're waiting for the generations that die off.
Yeah.
California is doing great, man. They even in the hoodest of hoods in California in Compton, those houses going for like three,
Yeah.
400,000, 500,000, a million. In the hood. Back in the day, they were worth like 5, 10,000 in Compton. Nobody wants to live in Compton. And then it's crazy. It's so beautiful out there too. You would never think that it's
The contrast in California is places where typically it would be looking better, and now it's not. Like San Francisco. San Francisco, the homeless problem is ridiculous.
so expensive to live out there.
Yeah, and like there's people living on like constant tent cities all up and down the street.
It's like that in Florida too. Florida, you'll go to a 7-Eleven. It used to be a tourist town, and they keep a lot of the crime off the news because they don't want people to be
Yeah.
scared to see Mickey Mouse or whatever. I heard they're moving into South Carolina. Is that true? Disney? They're gonna move Disney all the way to South Carolina.
I heard something about them, but I heard that they were going to actually like, because I know they're having problems with the governor of Florida, because he's like, you can't have your special district anymore. That was big news for a while because they used to have a special district where they controlled everything. It's like a state within a state. It's like the District of Columbia, like Washington D.C., only in Florida, where they controlled the security, they controlled like everything. They had their own police force, and now the governor said, no, you can't have that.
I've worked for Disney before. It's very weird. Very weird. I used to be a third shift custodial worker for Animal Kingdom. Um, one little story. Leslie, the anaconda, got loose. And I'm over here cleaning the fucking tanks and shit.
And the girl's like, "Hey, did you see Leslie?" I was like, "I don't know. I've only worked here a couple months." And I was like, "I don't know Leslie." She goes, "Well, you can't miss her. She's really big, and she has like brown stripes." And I'm like, "Huh? Like, what are you talking about?" She's like, yeah, the snake. You didn't know her name was Leslie?" I was like, "No." So she's gone. She's like out of the tank. She's like, "Yeah, she's no harm. Just don't touch her. All right, just get on the radio. I'm on channel 4. Let me know." I was scared to death.
All
But,
casual, like, no, you see this giant snake? Don't worry about
I
it.
don't know if she was
I've seen the movie Anaconda.
Yeah, for
I'm gonna
real.
stay here.
I'm a big snack for real. But yeah, man, even California, the epidemic is hit out there hard, man. A lot of people a lot of rappers and a lot of OGs and people
Yeah.
that were beneficial to the community, used to do good things for the community, um, are hooked on it, and
Yeah.
it's really bad all over the United States. But that is the answer to the riots and all that stuff. Whenever you have riots, there's always going to be docile extinction of the whatever the government does. Like with the Watts riots, they had stopped the train in the middle of the hood,
Yeah.
and automatic weapons, military weapons was there, and drugs, and that's when the drugs hit, and that's what calmed the people down, I guess, and that's what is happening with America, man. I guess if you keep people cigarettes, smoking,
Bread
drinking,
and circuses.
you
bread
keep
and
them down,
circuses.
you keep them distracted, and
Yeah.
they'll never rise up. Will never
Yeah.
rise up and gain. But yeah, Flint, Michigan's still fucked up, and the epidemic is everywhere, and it's sad. And hopefully, America gets better. But we are, and some people say that our country is the best country in the world, and I agree to a certain degree to that. But I think that we are sometimes the bad guys. I think our government doesn't tell us everything, and the resources. We need more resources for more affordable housing across America. The minimum wage don't cover nothing. And
Yeah, I think that's just a smokescreen. They always like people are pushing to raise that, but then everything else is going to be raised around it. What you got to do is lower the accessory things around it. It's not
food is
raising
super
whatever you
expensive
make.
out here.
Yeah,
In Florida, it's not that expensive.
like here, oh
You
man,
can live off $200 of food in Florida. $200 a month in food stamps, you can live off that. Over here,
that's what I used to spend on groceries a few years ago.
yeah, no,
Just
you
like
can't do
$200,
that. You can't do that.
and now it's doubled.
It's not tripled. Yeah,
It's like I'm spending so much just on food.
you should go to Greenhearts Market. Have you ever heard of it?
Where's that at?
It's about 20 minutes out the road. In the country. I don't know. I just moved here 2 years ago. I just found out.
Don't put me on the spot.
I only moved
I'm the
here
new
2
man.
years ago. No, I only moved here 2.5 years ago, but I still use the GPS. I just found out how to get to Walmart without GPS. But it's right around the corner.
I still get everywhere with GPS. I got over here with GPS.
Yeah, bro. It's called Greenhearts Market, man. A greens market. And they have heads of lettuce for like $2. And this head of lettuce will last you 3 weeks. If you go to Walmart and you get like it's barely gonna last you a week before it starts turns brown. Just don't get slimy or anything. It's all organic too. They're very cheap. I spend more money with. I try to tell my family, man, if we can go to these mom and pop businesses. We need to start supporting local businesses because they're hurting the most, especially since COVID and stuff. These big corporations, when you go to Walmart and you see the self checkout, it's only hurting our own people when there's jobs. There's no jobs. We're getting replaced by vending machines and
well, there's fast food places that have changed to like you don't even go to the counter to order anymore. You go to
like
the
McDonald's.
machine, and you put the thing in the machine, and then the cooks just make it.
Yeah.
And the only reason they don't replace the cooks is because the robots can't make the food yet.
Yeah.
And so you got to still have the cooks make the food. But they don't have anybody up at the front
Cyberdyne.
because you just hit the machine, hit the kiosk.
Fucking Terminator, man. Cyberdyne.
But that's a good point. We've gotten like this far, and it's been a long episode. It's been pretty good.
Hell yeah, it's a long
And,
episode.
I want to thank my buddy KP.
Thank you for
being
having
on,
me,
because
man.
this was a great episode. We have a lot of good stuff to talk about.
It's been crazy.
And,
We had a lot of subjects.
I would keep on going, but I think YouTube would take like 6 hours to upload.
Hell yeah, we might even get like sniped by the fucking. We might get sniped by the Secret Service.
So I hope you guys like this special episode. If you have questions, comments, etc., drop them in the comments. I want to hear about them. Like, share, subscribe, all that good social media, whatever.
And Google me, KP Malone, man.
KP
Check out my
Malone.
music. I got an
Absolutely
album.
100%. Like plug all that. Plug
Yeah,
all
I got
that.
an album dropping very, very soon. As soon as me and Poe get together and I could get him away from his 20 kids. I love you, Poe. But yeah, man. I got an album dropping called Don't Ignore Malone. I got a lot to say on there. I got another album ready to go called Everything's Perception, but I'm putting it out of order because I feel like the people need to be healed and my story needs to get told. And I just want to help people with mental disabilities and people that's the injustice of America, man, and tell my story to help people get through daily life. But yeah, man, check me out, KP Malone. You can Google me. You'll find my SoundCloud and stuff. I'm not much on Spotify. I will be on iTunes, Spotify, and everything later this year. When Poe calls me back,
Puts it through
Big
the
Buff
system.
Records, B&E Records. Thank you, Spider, for having me.
Absolutely. It's been a blast, like 100%. And stay tuned because he'll be back in the future.
Yes, sir.
Okay.